Get ready to get sticky. Sticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Corona Crush is creating Jewish couples always. Join the Facebook group. Just search Corona Crush and look out for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. They're 100% free and 100% Jewish. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sticky Situations. I'm your host, Rachel, which obviously you already know because I'm unforgettable. Everyone, whatever platform you're listening on right now, go follow or subscribe, give us a 5-star rating and a glowing review, nice reviews only. If you have any negative feedback, you could just send me a DM. Only good reviews, and give us 5 stars. Go like Sticky Situations page on Facebook. Follow Sticky Situations Pod on Instagram. Follow Sticky Situations Pod on TikTok. I hope we still have TikTok. Like right now we do. I should probably get better at doing TikToks before it maybe goes away, but hopefully it won't. So yeah, follow on TikTok. If you would like to be a guest on my podcast, I'm looking for new guests always. I honestly, I don't care where you live. I don't care your sexuality. I don't care your religious level. I don't care your gender. Like, come be on the podcast. I want to hear your stories. I want different perspectives. Even if you're like, oh, I'm just a basic modern Orthodox person, you've already had on so many. No, everybody's perspective matters. And everybody has different stories and experiences, and I want to hear all of them. So there are applications in all of my Corona Crush posts and also somewhere on the socials, but you could just send me a DM on Instagram or at Sticky Situations Pod, or send me an email at stickysituationspod@gmail.com. Same goes for if you would like to date any of my single guests. I would love to try to set it up for you and fulfill my dreams of being a shadchan. Actually, I don't even know if those are dreams anymore because I think shadchanim are not it. But I would love to like try to help you out. I would love to match you up. It's good podcast publicity if I can say, oh yeah, I made a match. So really, if you find someone intriguing who's my guest who says that they're single, feel free to reach out and I'll try to hook it up for you. So yeah. And again, you can send me a DM on Instagram at Sticky Situations Pod or send me an email at stickysituationspod@gmail.com. Okay, so we're going to get right into it now. Everybody, I have an extra special guest today. Please welcome my friend Sara. Sara, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. Okay, so Sara, before we get into your stories and hot takes and everything, can you just tell me and my listeners some basic information about yourself? Your age, location, relationship status, and religious denomination.
Sure. So I'm 26. I live in Queens. I am very much single. I don't like labels, and we'll get into that. But if I had to choose one, I would say I'm modern Orthodox Machmir. I don't really fit in a box. I'm not yeshivish. I'm not modern. And I've been dating for about 6.5 years.
Wow. We love it. This this whole dating world.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like I forget how long I've actually been in it. Like
Yeah.
I know some of my stories are from years ago, but like now we're in 2025 and 2019 was 6 years ago.
Right. Yeah. I still remember almost every story. So
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that. That's good for us.
yeah.
So should
And
we get right?
I have a list. The guys, I know everything. So
I love it.
yeah.
So sorry, should we get into your stories then?
Let's get into it.
Okay.
So, I mean, from what I've noticed most about like my stories and like the guys, I'm going to start with this, that first of all, even though the shidduch system is very hard and there are pros and cons to each, and I just want to put it out there that I'm not bitter at all. Like every person that I meet is for a reason and there's a lesson on the way. But like what I find really frustrating is these stories where I feel like guys aren't very forward and they're not straight. Not in terms of like you shouldn't tell someone you're not attracted to them. That's just like a no. Like no one wants to hear something that you can't control. Like 100%. Like if it's my personality you don't like, or something I said or something I did, I can change that like totally. But I've gone out, I can't even tell you with how many guys, at least 5 or 6, where like everything's good. They don't give you the vibe that like something's off. Because if I get the vibe that something's off, or if I don't like it, I'll give the vibe that I'm not into it. But there's been at least 5 guys where like I'm going out, everything seems fine, we're connecting, and then we're talking about a next date and like where do we want to go, And then 45 minutes after they drop me off, either they text me that they don't want to move forward, or the shadchan tells me it's over. And I'm like, well, then why the heck would you spend 7 hours with me?
Oh my God.
And why would you say, what do you want to do in your next date? Like, I feel like guys don't, like, they don't want to like make you feel bad and like, do that. So they'll like continue, or like they feel bad to end a date early, but like, trust me, if you're not interested, like you're not saving, it's going to hurt longer in the long run. Like, for example, I went with this guy I'm not going to say where, just in case, but we went to this place where we literally could have left in the middle. Like, it wasn't something like we have to stay. And the entire time we're there, like, he's literally asking me questions and like, so what do you do for this date? And what do you do? Da, 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 da. And never gave me the vibe that he wasn't interesting. There was banter, there's this, there's that. And then like, as soon as he drops me off for the car, that's when I felt like something was off. And then 5 minutes later, the shadchan tells me like, he's not into it. And I know that he gave a bogus answer because he said that it wasn't my personality. Like, he didn't think our personalities match. But to me, if your personalities, like, you don't have chemistry with someone, like, if you don't click, with their personality.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was a bogus answer, but I was just like, we were out for 5 hours. Like, we did not have to stay for the full activity. Like, we could have left, like, or even if you didn't want to leave, like, don't say certain things or do certain things that make you seem interested in, that you're interested in me. And then like, oh, I was just like being nice, or, like those things really bother me. Like,
Yeah, because it's not nice.
yeah, it's like, you don't owe me anything. Like, you're not interested in me, you're not interested in me, but like, don't plan our next date and ask me what I like and all this stuff and think and give me the vibe that you're interested. And then like, all of a sudden you're not. Like, that's not cool.
Yeah, like I don't know. I could usually tell within the first like few minutes of meeting someone if I want to go out with them again or not. So if I don't want to go out again, I'm not going to spend hours and hours with them. I'm not going to feed into potential of a future.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't get why guys do it.
Well,
Like,
I'm not even talking about like the beginning dates, because the beginning dates are usually 2-3 hours. So like, if it's not for you, you suck it up and you kind of just like be nice and like end it. But this is like your 5-6 date in, you're connecting, like usually
oh
when,
wow,
yeah, usually like when you're like, I mean, I did a long time, like 2-3 months. I mean, when in my
a
stages,
long
and
time.
it's a long time. But I'm saying like 5-6 dates, you're already at the point where like you kind of maybe see potential with this person, and then
Yeah.
like, and you have a connection and all that stuff. So that's what I find like frustrating. But I just
No,
feel
that
like
is
they
frustrating because
promise
it's
you things and just like stop leading us on. Just be straight. Like, okay, if I also believe that like, if you're not attracted to someone, you wouldn't be dating for them for 5 dates or whatever. So
no.
that's not the answer. So then like, just listen, it does suck to hear the truth. It does, but sometimes it's better to know than to just be led on, honestly. Like,
Yeah. I
okay,
mean, also, I don't know. I feel like at that point you should just tell the person to their face. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it might not be like physical attraction because I've had it before where I've been dating someone and I like them. I like them as a person. We're getting along. There's enough attraction there to keep it going. And then all of a sudden, it's like thinking about the future and thinking about next steps. And it just like, there I don't know, I've had it where it just didn't feel right, like something
But
just
that's
didn't
normal
feel
though.
right.
That's
It
normal.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, I'm not attracted to him, I don't like him. I did like him, I was attracted. It just like wasn't enough to keep something going on longer
100%. Listen,
than it should be.
it's a big commitment. You want to be 100% sure, but like,
Yeah.
I just feel like they're so scared for like, I don't know if it's an ego thing or they just like feel bad, but like, instead of just being like forward, I think that's also why there is a plus of having someone in between in the beginning. Like, it doesn't have to be shotgun, it can be the person setting you up, a friend or a dating coach, or someone can be like it's just easier, because especially in the first few dates, because like you don't really know them yet, so to just be like, oh, I don't like you, as opposed to when you're 5-6 days in and you already drop the shotgun, or like however you meet. It's, I mean, listen, that's life about dating. You break up, you meet, and you hopefully it But like to just continue someone on because you feel bad is like just not cool. Like I maybe I'm just a straight shooter and like I want someone to like tell me straight up and like, well, it sucked to hear, yeah, but it's better than me thinking you like me and you want to spend hours with me and then like come home thinking we're having another date and 5 minutes later you're like, actually, never mind, you know?
Do you think that they the whole time they just didn't like you enough and they felt bad and wanted to stay, or it's like you think at some point something clicked and it's like, oh, actually I don't, because I feel like especially in your your type of world of dating, like I'm more modern, so I would obviously I would probably date someone longer. Um like 5 6 dates in, that's like when you that's like kind of getting close to serious territory of
Nah,
like,
not for me. But I mean, it definitely means you have potential. But like, I don't know what it is. I think it depends on each situation and each person. But I think like once, I think maybe in the beginning, like the first 3 dates, okay, like you're awkward, you don't know the person yet, so you feel bad, fine, okay. But like you're 5 6 dates in, which means there's potential. So like, and again, I don't need you to not like, I don't want anyone to be forced to marry me. I think they have to be nice and but like don't, and even if you, it could be that there's something on the date, but like if there was something that I was said that I would hope that they would say it on the date that I could maybe fix it for them or explain it. But even if like something happened on like in the middle of the date, so then like change your vibe and like end it, or like say like
yeah.
why would you continue 2 hours early? Or, and it's fine if something, like you said, like it's fine if something happens on the date and then you go home and you think about it and then like you give an answer the next day or whatever, you text them, but like within 20 minutes, like you didn't think about it, like,
Yeah.
it's fine if
Like
you change your mind or something happens, but like you something clicked and now you're like, okay, something that I'm not interested in Sarah anymore, but let's go out for 2 more hours because I already told her that we're going to go out from 6 to 10, which by the way, it doesn't have to be that. And then when I drop her off, I'll just like tell her never mind. Like that's what I feel like goes on in that.
yeah, like if you don't want to go out, if you already know, then just don't waste my time. Call me up and tell me, and we don't
Yeah.
have to go out.
Yeah. Like I just feel like people should just be straight and stuff like that. But I can just tell you like funny stories that I've had. This was like the first guy I ever dated. Don't ask me why I dated him twice after this situation, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was like 20. But we're like walking around and we're having this connection. We're sitting down in like a place that like it's like whatever, it's like a nice place and we're talking and all of a sudden there's this daddy long leg. I kid you not, like crawling and like internally I'm like freaking out because like I don't like bugs. This guy, I kid you not, takes the bug by the fingers and takes one leg off at it,
Ew.
chucks the body away and continues talking as if nothing happens. And I'm just like, uh okay. Like that's psychotic behavior and I don't know why I
Oh
continued
my
like
God.
continuing after that, but
No, that
that's one of my top. Yeah.
no, that is like psychotic.
He's married now, so I hope it's
Oh God. No, that's like, and he didn't acknowledge anything. You didn't say anything about
no,
it.
he just kept like I didn't even have a chance to say anything or like take it because he just like continued
I
conversation.
just would have been like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was just like my mouth was just like literally to the floor, like
I'm horrified.
yeah. So that's one, and then so the other ones, it's just like a funny story. I was accidentally taken to a nude beach, but we left right away. Uh,
Wait. Okay, how did that happen?
Basically, he knew I'm a romantic, so like he knew that I would like a sunset on the beach, and so then so we're doing our date, and then towards the end of the date, he was gonna take me to sunset on the beach. So the first beach that we went to, for some reason, it didn't have like any parking. So fine, he called his and asked for another beach. They told us the beach. We get there, but where we parked, we missed the sign that said caution from this point forward, whatever. And he's like, this is
Oh,
Bacher. So like we're walking in the beach, and like, you know, everyone's wearing like tight like shorts, and you know, and he's just like uncomfortable. He's like yeshiva guy, and he's just like already shocked, and like literally as we walk straight, like on my left is like, you know, someone doing their business, and then just like forward us. So then I was like, hey, maybe we should just like continue talking, like walking, maybe it's just our own, like, and then we realized it got bad, and like we turned back, and it was so funny. He was like so shocked. He's like, is this what the world has come to? Like, it was just like really funny. So it ended up just being like a really, really funny story. And like we had jokes, but like the poor guy was like mortified. I was laughing the entire time. I was crying of
No,
laughter.
that's
I
so funny.
thought it was so funny. I was like, if we get married, if we get engaged, we will have jokes for life. I'll have so many stories. So that was funny. Like I have a lot of like those, but I'll tell you another thing that I noticed is that guys don't get hints. And how
No, they don't.
they don't.
They don't.
Uh,
You had to tell them things outright.
But it's crazy because I think what happens is when they're in school, or whoever teaches them how to date or how to talk to a girl, they know to like open the door and like open the car door and like this and that, but they don't know anything else. So like I was dating this guy, and it was our first date, and he didn't tell me where we're going. He takes me to a mall, and we're walking around the mall like 4 times, and I'm in heels, okay, because I didn't know. So I'm already uncomfortable. Everyone's looking at you, and I always offer water bottles when they come. So we had our water bottle. I'm getting like, you know, tired and like want to eat. So I keep walking to a place that's like empty, like, and stopping, like hoping that he'll be like, oh, let's take a, you know, seat. And we just keep going around in a circle. And I'm just like, I don't know. But so that was one. And then like the second time I went out with him, um, I had a no, sorry, the third time I went out with him, I had like a cold, and I wasn't like feeling well. And he took me to like this game place, but right away, like it was like this kosher cafe and game place. And I'm like looking at the menu, hoping that, you know, maybe the guy would like buy me a drink. And like he just pays, and like no, the guy at the counter just says, oh, hey, if there's anything that you would like, you know, please let me know. And right away he goes, no, we're good, thank you. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And then we go and like continue on the game, and then like I'm saying, oh my gosh, it's so cold in here. And he's like, why does every girl complain it's cold? And I'm like, can you just get me a tea? Like in my mind's like, you know. So yeah, you do have to be straight with men. I'm noticing, but there's so
Like,
many times where I'm
it
just
would be
like,
nice if
yeah,
they I think in that kind of situation, it's like considerate if he's like, "Oh, do you want a drink? Do you
yeah.
want something?" Like,
I think I need to stop offering drinks, because once we finish the water bottle that I give them when they come to pick me up, like there's just, unless we're going out to eat, there's like no other question like, oh, hey, do you want water? And
no, you shouldn't bring them water. Why did you start doing the water bottle thing? I'm just curious.
I think for me, I just in general get nervous. So like holding on to something or like a water bottle is good, but I just always felt weird like giving a water bottle. So I would just offer them a water bottle, and then sometimes they'll be like, oh no, I have in the car. I'm like, oh, that's so nice of you. Like, you know, and I'll just take theirs. Or a lot of the time, like if I'm not meeting through like a resume, it's like someone I met at an event or this or that, I'll text them and be like, hey, do you want water? And then they'll either be like, yeah, sure, or they'll be like, no, it's okay, I got. But I think it's also like an in town, out of town thing, because I didn't know it was normal for a guy to open a car door until I dated an out of town guy. Like I was weirded out by it. I came home from the date and I was like, Mom, like he opened the car door for me, and like it was like weird. And my mother was like, wait, you've never had a guy open the car door for me? And I was like, no. And like I didn't know like that was like a normal thing, you know? So I just
Yeah.
it's like I feel like they're taught certain things, but they're not taught everything, or you know, the guys
Not
are
all guys will do the car door. It's funny because my ex-boyfriend used to always do the car door, and he'd get mad when I would just like not wait for him and open the door myself. He's like, "No." So
yeah.
like, I don't. It's funny because I kind of didn't remember that until we were talking about it.
So for
Like,
me,
I used
like
to wait for him to come and open my door because I knew it's
as
not that he
you
would get
should.
it's not that he would get mad. He just like I could tell he wanted to open it.
Yeah,
So it's just like, why am I denying him of that?
yeah.
So
As
yeah.
you should. There's very few guys these days that that are like that. But for me, like I don't have expectations, and like I said, I'm like a romantic. But once you start something, I expect it. So like I I know every single person that dates and opens the car door for every date. Either it stops after a certain amount because like okay now she knows you so you can stop, or they do it for every date. But then as soon as you get married, it's like gone and like that. So for me, you don't. I can open my own car door, but if you start opening my car door, I'm gonna expect it every time. And maybe that's
Yeah.
like a bad thing on me, but
It's actually funny. I didn't know that guys actually open doors for girls anymore until now that I mean this was like really early. I hadn't gone on so many dates when I started. I didn't like date so much in college.
mm,
It was more after, and I started my first job right out of college, and I was an auditor. I work in accounting. So I was working in audit. So I would go to the client with like my coworker. A lot of times we would meet first and then go to the client together. Or like if
right,
I went out with them to get lunch or whatever, I didn't realize that guys actually hold doors for girls anymore
yeah,
until my non-Jewish male coworkers, anytime we went somewhere, like sometimes I would be the only girl on the team and like they would hold the door for me and I was like, these Jewish boys don't do it. Some Jewish boys do. Some
yeah.
Jewish boys do. I just had yet to encounter a Jewish guy who did. And I was like,
I think that's
damn.
also why I'm frustrated with not it's not because it's not a lot of times it's not the guy's fault. It's just whoever taught them just it's just not great. Like if it's their parents, whatever, I can't help you.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the time it's like they went to some school or something, college, they have a mentor, somebody's teaching these guys something, and they're just teaching them these like warped, like
Hopefully they
yeah,
can learn from this podcast
yeah. I mean, I have
how to
so
act on a
many
date.
yeah, I've also like I don't know, like do you think attraction is like a big deal for guys?
I've been told that it is, and I've been told that it's like the only thing that matters, like
Yeah.
from the get-go. And honestly, like I think that's the problem. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest problems because listen, I meet guys and yeah, sometimes I think they're cute, sometimes I don't think they're cute.
Mhm.
But my level of attraction is really based off of their personality.
Right,
Like
because they're also emotional people.
I could meet a guy who's so hot who literally gives zero personality and be so turned off by it like no interest whatsoever, and then I could meet a guy who is like average looking, maybe not like
Mm,
disgustingly ugly.
yeah.
Not that many people are disgustingly ugly. Like I just don't think there are that many people who are. I think it's really hard to
Yeah.
be that level of ugly, especially like if you take care of yourself in
Yeah.
terms of like I don't know, you shower, you like make sure that you have a haircut. I don't, especially for guys, it's
Sometimes
easy to
guys
be
have
put
it
together.
harder because for girls, like we can do our hair, we can put a little bit of makeup, we can like put on a bigger sweater if we gained a few pounds. Like with guys, like the way they wake up is the way they look. So like sometimes,
Yeah, but I don't know. I think you can tell when a guy puts an effort into his
yeah,
appearance. And I'm
yeah.
not talking about I literally went on a date once with a guy who had a longer hair care routine than I did. And I was just like, why?
Mhm.
And he was like criticizing he okay, of course I only went on 2 dates with him, but of course I did my hair for the date.
Yeah.
But he was like horrified when I told him that like I usually don't do my hair and makeup. Like, I don't know. I mean, you're saying me
Which, by
right
the way,
now
guys
after
like
work. Like,
more natural look. It's fascinating
yeah.
because these guys want like perfect model tens, but then they also want like buns with sweatshirts and natural. So it's like, what do you want? And also, what do you expect more of a girl? Like she has her. We always have to look good, right? We have to like go to
Mhm.
the gym and whatever. We have to do our hair. We have to do our makeup. Our teeth has to be good. Like everything has to be good. Our personality, everything has to work for a guy because if the guy doesn't have the traction from the get go, you're screwed. For girls, like we have to be like semi attracted to you, and then hopefully it grows with personality. I mean, as long as you're not repulsed to, then I would, continue. But
Yeah.
it's just like, what more do you want from girls when like you expect that they're gonna be this, which by the way, nobody, unless it's like you've been skinny your entire life and it's genetics, nobody looks the same way as when you dated them and when you and 10 years or 5 or 3 years into it.
No.
So
Especially
it's like,
because you have kids and like
yeah.
having kids changes your whole body. And like listen, I I have not had kids. I am not
Mhm.
married, but I'll say like even in my 31 years of existence, my body has changed several
Yeah.
times. Like my it's just like how my body is. I have certain things with my hormones and
Right.
like sometimes I don't know, I try different things. I've like gained and lost weight so many times. Like I can't even count. I've clothes in every single size because it's like I don't know. And yeah, you can't really control you and also with
Yeah,
age, you just
100%.
like your
I
body
think it's like
changes.
I understand, and I'm not saying that no one should ever be attracted. Like you have to be attracted to the person
Yeah.
that you're marrying, obviously. But I feel like they have this like, I want this, and like if it's not that, or like then they either won't go out or they'll get that and they'll be blinded by that and like see that it's
Yeah.
fake and see that like that's not the person, and next thing you know they're dating for 2 3 months. It's
Yeah.
like,
I don't know. I know the guys you're dating I think it's a problem with society in general
yeah.
and the emphasis and the like the power we give to men when it comes to that and like the expect I think now I'm not even talking about the Jewish world. I'm talking about like the regular world. There's been a huge shift. Like it used to be like, oh, models have to look this way. And
Mhm.
now and like that's what you're
Body,
seeing
body
in the
positivity,
magazines,
yeah.
that's what you're seeing on TV. And again, I'm not talking really in the Jewish world because they don't even look at pictures of women.
Mhm.
But now with all of the body positivity,
Yeah,
it's everyone looks different. Like I'm watching a show and there's more representation
yeah.
of different body
I just
types.
like, I wish like I could have an AI generated perfect person of what I'm looking for, but it
Yeah.
doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, and I feel like, listen, I'm not saying that girls don't do this also. I know plenty of girls who are like, I want a millionaire, and if I can't get a millionaire, I don't want anything. And I'm like, okay, what happens when he loses his job? Like, there are girls who have like
Yeah.
unrealistic expectations, but I feel a lot of it is on the guys, and I feel like it comes out like on dates. Like,
Yeah, and I think the difference though between what you're saying with the girls and money, which I think a lot of the times it's equated. And listen, I'm not perfect. I don't need a millionaire, but
yeah,
I want a guy who has a good career.
well,
I
yeah,
have a good career
sure.
though. Like I want to know that we're going to be okay. Like our family's going to be
Yeah.
okay.
No, I'm not saying,
But
like, listen, like, I also, money's not going to buy happiness. I
I
would
think
like
money
to not
does buy
have bread
happiness.
and that's a different debate, but
But that's a different topic and like it's not
yeah,
really involved in dating, like
yeah.
just in
Well,
general.
no, because there are people who like either go after guys because of their money or they go after, because of that. Um, but for me, it's like, I know for a fact that like once I get married, I'm not living in a house. I'm living in a basement apartment, and like, but like I'm hoping I'm not gonna have bread and water on the table. Like I definitely do, but I don't, I don't.
Yeah, so I'm like I'm having a house. But also I have a very good career and
Yeah,
like I'm independent in my own capacity like so and yeah, again, nothing is for certain, but I want to just point out what I think a key difference though is between like a guy's job and a girl's looks. I think the whole job thing is something that and you mentioned this before, it's something that you can control.
right.
Your looks, you can't really control. Like, okay, yeah, you could get plastic surgery, but that's like crazy.
Yeah.
It's
No,
more
I
like
mean, you can control to an extent where like don't just eat whatever you want and gain 400 pounds because like,
yeah,
what I'm saying, like you
no,
can
if
control
you
it to an
take
extent.
care of
Yeah,
yourself, but
yeah,
like a lot of time, like I've heard guys like say, "Oh, I don't like the shape of her nose," or like her hair color, or she's too tall, she's too short. Like
yeah,
things that you can't. I mean, I guess you can dye your hair, but like you get a nose job. But
Right.
things like that are harder to control. I'm not talking about someone who just completely doesn't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
I'm talking about somebody who is healthy physically, and healthy looks different on different people. Like, so someone who puts an effort into their appearance, two people who put the same amount of effort into their appearance are not necessarily going to look the same.
Right.
And I guess same goes with like career, but I do think that is something that you have more control over. Like, I I I don't know. I When I was choosing my career path, I knew I wanted something stable. I didn't choose to be an accountant because being an accountant is so thrilling and I'm so passionate about it.
Right.
No, I like numbers, I like spreadsheets, and I like stability. And like the truth of the matter is, like, God forbid if something happened to my job,
Yeah.
there are a lot more jobs. And okay, maybe I wouldn't get something that pays as much. Maybe I wouldn't get something that has as many perks. But at the end of the day, there's always something. So when I talk to guys who complain that girls don't want to date them because they don't make enough money, and I'm like, okay, well, you work for Jewish nonprofit. Like, what do you expect?
Right.
Why don't you like? And also, I think, especially in certain capacities, like, a lot of adults go back to school. If I was dissatisfied with my career, and I've thought about going back to school multiple times, like if I was
I think
dissatisfied with my
I think
career, like,
because, like you said before, with the power, I think guys get intimidated by girls these days, and that's why they'll make up stupid excuses or they'll
they
do
do.
like they're intimidated. Like I've had guys who like didn't have cars to take me out, and they were like 28, and I'm like, how are you supposed to take care of me if you don't have a car? Like I have a car, I have a job, I'm independent on this and that, and I bring so much to the package, and like, and I don't like I said, I'm very easy. Like I will put myself on hold. Like I will put my life on hold for you to like, if like, as long as you have a plan, I'm okay with that. But it's just like at a certain point, you know, what I think, because I bring Baruch Hashem like a lot of things to the table. I have a good family, I have this and that. These guys, I think, just get scared, and it's too intimidating. But really, if you would just get to know me, you would see like I don't care about that stuff, and like I just need you to like make me laugh and take care of me. But I think they just get too like scared, and I think with the
Yeah,
power that the girls have these days, they just can't handle it.
yeah, there definitely are guys who can't, but I don't know. I think one of my biggest pet peeves is guys who complain about their situation without doing anything about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there are people in situations that can't change it. But like I said before, if you are in a job and you're getting rejected because you don't make enough money, and that makes you, I'm not saying you should change yourself or anything about you to date, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying if you're insecure about that and you want to make more money or you want a better job,
Leave your job.
like, you can, like,
Right.
apply for something, go back to school part-time. Like, there's so many online programs. It's like, okay, so go get a master's degree online. Like, yeah, it's not so simple, you have to figure it out, but that's
Right.
life. Like,
Yeah.
in life we have to figure things out. One of my biggest pet peeves also is guys who complain about their living situation and don't do anything about it. Like,
Yeah.
you guys all know I happen to live in a very large singles community, very
Yeah.
large singles modern Orthodox community. I have talked to guys on apps who are like, "Oh, I'm so jealous. Like, I wish I could live somewhere with like a lot of Jewish singles." And they're like living at their parents' house in like New
Yeah.
Jersey. And it's
At
like,
35.
bro,
Yeah.
you're almost 30 years old. Like, or you're in your 30s, like late 20s, early 30s. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
move. You don't need to live with your parents. My parents live in a different state. Like, you
Right.
don't need to live with your parents. You can move. You like, especially like some of these guys have jobs and good jobs, and it's like, oh, I wish I lived in a place like that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I could
Like, why
have
are
a
you 30?
social life like
Yeah.
that.
Why are you
Like,
35 still living at home? Yeah.
yeah, if they ask me about my Shabbos and like I tell them like what I did over Shabbos, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds so fun. I wish I lived somewhere like that." It's like, okay, well, you can.
And yeah.
You can. It's like, if you don't like something about your life, you can change it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
most people
also
are
a
not
lot of men
helpless.
just need a wife to like set you straight. But at a certain point, it's not our job to set you straight. Also, like
Yeah.
you should know the basics and like, and that's also communication. And when you're dating, is like my needs and your needs and love languages and stuff like that. Um, but like, and it's fine to teach, but like to teach from zero, like is just you know. But
Yeah, and also, I don't know, I don't think I like the idea of having to teach a guy from the ground up, like marrying
yeah.
a guy and having to like tell him it's like the whole
But it's
concept
also,
of
how are you 28 and you don't know these things, or how are you like, you know, how are you how are you dating in the world if you don't know these things? Like you should not be dating. Like, and you don't have to follow. There's also like the pressure where you have to start dating or whatever, but like you don't have to start dating if you're not ready, and no one should ever like pressure you. Number one, but like if you're 27 and you're like, I'm not ready, I'm not stable in my job, whatever, don't start dating because you're like scared that it's never gonna happen. Hashem knows the plan and Hashem is gonna make it. But like by you not having a plan, or by you not like not knowing yourself, is really making it a lot harder on the girls. And it's, honestly, it's quite offensive to me sometimes, because when I get these guys who like, they don't, or I was told that he's a working guy, but he's only been working for 3 months and he hates his job and he doesn't have a car. I'm like, is this what you think of me? Because I could consider myself an independent person, and I have my life going and I love my job and this and that. And you're sending me someone who hates his job and doesn't have a car and like doesn't have a plan, but like we connect chemistry wise. And then I'm like, is this what you think of me? And I know that anyone who's setting me up, you know, thinks of, doesn't think that way. But sometimes I get offended. I'm like, these are the types of guys you're sending me. Is this what you think of me? Like that I deserve someone who needs to be taught, or who doesn't have a car, or who doesn't have this, or doesn't have that, It's like, and that's frustrating also. But um I'm also just like, I guess it's just like more of like, I'm a very straight, like I don't need a lot. I also don't need a lot. That's why it's frustrating for me. It's like I'm very open. I date Balchuva, I date converts, tall, short, skinny, fat, like Sephardi, Ashkenazi, like whatever, as long as we connect, like, personality wise, and like, but it's like, even with that open mindedness, and I'm still so open minded, and like they still can't, like, you know, like I'm,
yeah.
but
It's also, I think girls are a lot more open-minded than guys.
yeah,
So, which sucks. Because
yeah.
it's like, I'm willing to give this guy a chance who sucks,
Yeah.
but like,
I
these
mean, that's why
guys,
you go to these events, and they're these shadchanim, or the people running the events, are like begging these guys to show up, because you have so many more girls than guys. And then like you go to these events and you can tell the guys don't want to be there, that they're depressed, they're forced, like you can just tell. And it's like, okay, well, you're not making this fun, like you don't have
mm,
to go to every single event because you think you have to. Like I stopped going to a lot of events because I just knew every single person, or like it was the
yeah,
same people. And it's like, clearly this isn't working, like I don't know, it's just, but that's my thing.
yeah,
Yeah. I want to
I
ask you
agree.
a question though. I wonder if it's just me. Have you like had any issues of like when you wanted to offer to pay on a date? Not for the date, but like you're going to a movie, he paid you for the dinner, and he paid for the movie, and you just want to get drinks, and then they're like, no. Like, have you ever had that?
It's very rare that I want to pay. Um, Also, like, I guess in my own dating life, like I've had two relationships, but outside of that, I haven't gone on so many dates
Mhm.
like in a row with guys. Like probably three, maybe four is the most I've gone out with a guy, unless like we're we got
Yeah,
into a
yeah,
relationship after.
yeah.
And I think in a relationship it's a little different. Um,
So I don't know.
like
I'm also a big giver. So in order for me to feel connected to somebody, I need to be able to give. And like these guys get so offended when you offer to pay, like, and I've had these conversations and debates with these guys like for years. Like I don't understand, when you get married and your wife wants to buy you a birthday present, it's okay because like you're married. But when you're dating, it's not. Or like they said, like if like if they say, oh, my favorite candy is sour sticks, and then the next date you bring them sour sticks, they're not upset that you got them sour sticks because you paid with it with your own money on your own time. But like on the date, it's and I understand it, and I, as much as I like, I do feel bad for guys. They spend so much money on, and then it might not work out. But I expect it. Like I would never offer to pay or split the check like that. That's just an expectation. But for me, it's like you spend $200 on the food, and like now you want to go see a movie, which is another 40 person each. Like, let me handle like the $10 drinks, let me bring the snacks. And they
Yeah.
get so offended, and it's a boost to their ego. And I just try to tell them, like, first of all, I want to give back to you. Like, I can handle $10, but if
Yeah.
they really get so turned off, and it's like a ego thing, and then I get turned off because they're so macho and like confident, and like, yes, you should be the gentleman, and you should lead the date. But, or like, they want me to plan the date. Well, if I'm going to plan the date, can you let me pay? No, you can just plan it out. Like, it just, I think
It's
it's also just a me thing, because I'm a big giver, so like I like to feel like I have to give back. But like, the concept of where they, like, okay, so you don't want me to, fine. But like, I've also had guys where like, well, I want the girl to offer because it's a nice thing to do, but I don't actually want her to pay. So it's
no, I don't
like,
like that.
yeah, it's like, well, because to them, if you don't offer, you're not a nice person. But if you're offering, then you're a nice person. But like, don't worry, I got this, I'll take care of you. So
Yeah, I mean, like, so I guess the only time it's really come up is with my ex-boyfriend, where he was like very macho. Like he never wanted me to pay. He made a lot more money than I did, which like I made a decent amount of money, so it wasn't it wasn't like whatever. He just made a lot more.
yeah,
So we would come down to it, and like we had been dating for a little while, and I was like, "Can I pay for something? Like I feel bad. Like you're paying for everything." Sometimes we would like go out for dinner and then go out for drinks after. So
right.
sometimes he would humor me and let me pay for drinks.
Or
One
like give them a
time,
gift, something, anything. But
yeah,
it's just,
no, I tried buying him a gift. He got mad at me.
mhm,
Not mad, but he's just like, "Why?
yeah,
Why'd you buy me this?"
because
Um,
it like
one
takes away
time
the ego.
I told this story before on the podcast, but I'll tell it again. It's been a little while. One time we went out to dinner, um, and the check came, and he would never let me pay for dinner. And like, meanwhile, like we're going not like crazy expensive places, but nice enough
Yeah,
places. And he'd already spent so much money on me. Like we'd been dating for a few months at this point,
right. Few thousand
and
dollars.
like, yeah, I mean, again, I'm not that high maintenance. Like, all I
Mhm.
told him, like, in our relationship, what we would do is, um, my job at the time was way less demanding than his. So I ended up going to him. He lived in New Jersey.
Oh
I would
wow.
end up going to him because if I went to him, we could spend more time together than if he came to me. So it just was it's what worked for us at the time. Like my since my circumstances have changed. I mean, we broke up, but
Right.
um like it was just at the time like I was working from home full time. I got out of work early. It was easier for me. And but I told him I'm like, "Here's the thing. I will log off of work and come straight to you, but I need to be fed." Like that's my only thing. It's like I need to be fed. I'll come right to you, but I need to be fed. So he would always buy me dinner and so yeah, so one I think it was a weekend we had this was like a part like 3 of our day together because he we actually went on a double date with some of my friends and then afterwards the two of us went to dinner and we just spent the whole day with my friends, everything. And we went to dinner. And again, it wasn't like a cheap place, but it wasn't like a super expensive place. And I was just like, "Why do you never let me pay for anything?" And he's like, "No, he's like, I'm the man. I want to like
Yeah.
pay for everything." Um, and the check came, and before he could do anything, I just took it. I put my card in, and I handed it to the waiter. He got so upset. He was like, "Why'd you do that?"
Yeah.
Like,
So
I
I'll
was
tell
like,
you a trick
I was
for
like, let
me.
me treat you for once.
Exactly. So actually, someone told me this, where like they were dating, and it was his birthday, so like she pretends to go to the bathroom and she ends up just like giving the credit card, and it was like they paid on file. But the good thing, I'm Shomanigi, I've always been Shomer my whole life. So I don't touch, right, I don't touch men. So my trick is that I either do Apple Pay or I take out my credit card and they can't stop me. So like that's kind of like my trick, my joke also is like, oh sorry, like I already did it, and like there's nothing you can do about it. And some guys, go along with the joke and like, okay, fine, and some people get like really offended. But I think they just feel like it takes away from their like ego, but I feel like, and I'm like giving the guys permission basically to like let the girls take care of you for once also. Like it doesn't all have to be on the guys. Like it's a high expectation. You guys spend a ton of money on all this stuff. Like what's $10? Why is $10 gonna hurt your heart or your ego so much? Like this girl likes you, like let her do something for you. Instead they're just like so offended, and it's just like it's always funny to me because I'm just like, but
Yeah. I don't
but
know. I guess for I wouldn't do that in early dating. Like I don't care enough. But
yeah,
if
no, I
if
do it
I'm
like 7, 8 dates in.
yeah, if we're dating, it's like I want to do thoughtful things too. And I'm trying to think with my other ex if I did any we didn't date as long. I definitely paid for some dates. His birthday was actually during the time we were dating. We didn't date for as long. We did for a couple months. So so his birthday had passed and he was out of town for his birthday. Obviously, like I texted him for his
Yeah.
birthday. We might have even talked. I think I might have called him. I don't even remember. But he when I saw him next, or maybe when I saw him before, I like he had told me what his favorite candy was. Like I bought him his favorite candy. I don't know why I didn't bake for him. I would usually like bake for a guy. When I was dating my first ex, I was in like a weird apartment situation.
Yeah.
So I never like cooked or baked for him. But it's just like, yeah, I agree with you. If I'm at a point in a relationship, I like giving also.
So,
So
but I've
I want
noticed
to be thoughtful
guys
too.
are okay with like if you bake them cookies out, like they're okay with that stuff. They're okay with gifts
I
outside,
still want to pay for
like
dinner.
but not on the dates. Like when you're on the date, it's up to the guy. If a guy says my favorite candy is sour sticks, and then you bring them sour sticks the next date, they're like they're so happy. But like if you decide to buy them sour sticks on the date, they're like it's like a crazy. I don't know. It's just like it's just funny the way that men think. Like they just have like really warped like.
Yeah. My ex
Uh,
did let me buy him candy on the Okay, so he took me out for a really nice dinner. For my birthday. This is my birthday. Okay, yeah, he took me out for a really nice dinner. I offered to pay for some of it because it was really expensive. And he was like, "No, of course we're not paying. Like it's your birthday." And then the restaurant we went to was right by a kosher supermarket, and I was hosting like a bunch of my friends for Shabbos. So I was like, "Oh, can we stop in here? Like this is cheaper than the city." Like we were outside of the city. This is cheaper than the city, and he's like, "Sure." So I bought him candy while we were I of course I bought my like own groceries or whatever. I wasn't even thinking
yeah,
he would like that was no expectation whatsoever. He just got me this really nice dinner, and then I he picked out candy, and I think he was gonna do it separately. I'm like, put it in with my stuff. Like, what are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah.
So I got him candy.
I think we should normalize that. Like, I mean, unless I'm the only giver girl, which I don't think I am. Like,
I don't think so.
we should normalize that girls like are givers, and we're emotional, and the way that we connect is through emotions and giving. And if guys don't allow that, it's very hard to have a relationship and connect with. Like I've gone on dates where like I I need the guy to be emotionally stable, like 100%. But I connect, I have some baggage, so I connect when guys have baggage a little bit too. I can be a listening ear. I can be there for you. That's how I feel like I'm giving to you. But like I've gone on dates where like I'm not able to like give them anything because either they don't let me, or they're popular, or they've had a good life, so they don't have any hardship. So and then I'm like, well, what am I giving to your relationship? And they're like, well, your personality and who you are as a person. I'm like, that's very nice, but like I need to like physically be able to give. So I'm just like saying it out there, like all men just normalize that girls, especially when you're dating for a long time, they want to take care of you. It's a motherly nature. So that's just like a little pinpoint, like let girls
Yeah.
take care of you as well.
But
Um
don't expect a woman to like
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
like being taken care of. Like
Yeah.
with my ex-boyfriend, like I wanted to do these things for him because of the way he treated me.
Right.
Like he
Exactly.
treated me like an absolute queen. Like
You
everything
get
he
respect. You
did,
get
like
respect. You know. You.
yeah, I not these guys who are just looking for a mommy who wants a
Yeah.
woman to like go to work full time because they can't afford all the bills, but also do all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the childcare. Like, no, girls, like we want to
Yeah.
give to
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
because of what, and it's
You
not
bring to the
like
table.
it's
Yeah.
give and take. It's give and take. It's not like tit for tat, but it's give and take.
Yeah.
It's like if
100.
you're treating me like this in such like a special way and you make me feel so taken care of and safe, like
Yeah.
I want to
100%.
make you feel
Yeah.
that way too.
100%. 100%.
So, we're way over
Oh.
overdue for our quick break, but let's take a pause on on our conversation and to hear a word from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Sticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Are you tired of swiping on dating apps? Tired of guessing whether the cute guy or girl you keep seeing around is Jewish and or single? Then you need to run, not walk to join Corona Crush. Corona Crush is a Jewish organization working to create Jewish couples always. Corona Crush has over 30 confirmed engagements, over 22,000 members from all over the world, and has set up over 50,000 speed dates. Join the Corona Crush Facebook group and post yourself or have a friend post you and see who reaches out. Fill out the survey to sign up for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. Corona Crush is 100% free and 100% Jewish. Worst case, you end up with some stories of your own. Best case, you find the love of your life. Try it out today. Here on Sticky Situations, we tend to focus on bad dating stories, but sometimes dates do go well and lead to proposals and weddings. Who would have thought? And what do all of those require, you might be asking? Well, the answer is flowers. Who doesn't want flowers from someone they've been seeing? Don't forget, flower petals and bouquets needed for proposals. And that's even before all the flowers that go into weddings. Sticky Situations is sponsored by Primrose Flower Shop. In my opinion, Primrose is the coolest flower shop around and has the best customer service to fulfill all of your floral needs. Primrose offers a range of services from your basic bouquets to subscription services where you can get flowers delivered once a week. They deliver all over the tri state area, including Manhattan. Primrose does weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and other simchas. I've personally been to a wedding where Primrose did the flowers, and the work they did was beyond gorgeous. Primrose additionally offers in store proposals, including a romantic setup with candles and music. Primrose is located at 2922 Avenue M in Brooklyn, and the phone number is 929 376 9815. You can also follow Primrose on Instagram at PrimroseNY. So, if you can't get someone out of your head, buy them some flowers from Primrose. They'll either love it or they'll find you really creepy. But regardless, the flowers will be out of this world.
Okay, we're back, everybody. Okay, wait. So, Sarah, did you have other funny stories you wanted to share? I
Um.
mean, we can continue talking about all this
Yeah.
other stuff,
I
but I just wanted to ask.
unfortunately no. I've just had like a lot of like silly like I mean every guy that I've dated usually like has like the story that I told you about the daddy long one, I call him Spider-Man. Like I have names for each one. Like I said, thank God, like I've never had like crazy bad ones. I'm like trying to think of like funny ones. Hmm. I guess I'll tell you one story, but it's not funny. It's more like it's kind of like on the lines of what we were talking about of like um doing things. Well, let me ask you a question first.
Sure.
How often do you think is like either too much or like not normal enough to go to date like a week? Like once a week is too little or three times is too much? Like what's your normal? What do you think is like once you're like like 5 6 dates in?
I would say probably twice a week. It also depends. It really depends on the circumstances, like where each person lives, work schedules. Like I'll tell you, my like most serious relationship, he lived in New Jersey, I lived in the
Right.
city.
So
It
it was
just like wasn't so feasible to see each other as often. So when we first started dating, we would see each other like once a week.
Mhm.
And then he was also at the busiest time of his work when we started dating. So it was hard to like see each other on the weekend because he would often work on the weekend.
Right.
And then as we got further along into dating, he got less busy at work. He was still always busy. Like he
Right.
was never not busy, which I think was a unique situation. It's not just like someone who lives in my neighborhood, but I feel like I would want to see him more. It
Yeah.
just wasn't always possible. I don't like
So
twice a
I'll tell
week,
you
I
why
think
I
is
asked.
good.
Yeah, so I'll tell you why I asked. Well, first of all, like I'm always into like the more you date and the longer you date, the better because if there's something to hide, it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Like, like even if you are going out 2 times a week, 3 times a week, like if the guy's a narcissistic man, it's gonna come out eventually.
You'll see it.
But the reason why I'm asking is because the story is that I was dating this guy and we were going out, I think, twice a week. And his job was just a very like intense and tiring job. So he wanted to like go down to once a week. So for me, that was like, well, that's a step back. Um, and in the end, like he was, by the way, it's not all about like it's not just about words. Your actions have to align with your words because
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of guys tell me things and the actions were not showing it. So I'm putting that out there. But anyway, so this guy
Yeah,
he
agreed.
was telling me, he's like, no, it has nothing to do with you or how I feel about you. Like, I just wanted, like, I'm just too tired, but like, we'll do once a week. And like, when we go out once a week, um, it'll be like a long one and whatever. So we had like a little bit of like a discussion and I heard him out and I spoke to the dating coach and like I heard him out and I compromised. I was like, fine, I'm okay with the once a week thing, but you're gonna have to show me other ways of showing me that you're thinking of me. The lesson that it's not a lesson, but like I'm trying to get at is like if you do communication is a big, big thing in relationships and you have to like say it correctly and because the way you say things is detrimental to relationships sometimes.
Yeah.
um but like if you do want to step back from like if you're going 3 times a week, like it is a lot. You also need time to think in between about the dates and about the new conversations. But that was just like crazy to me, like where he would say all these things that like if it was up to me, I would take you I would see you all the time. Well, then why is it so hard for you to send me in Ubers, once a
Yeah.
week? So like
No,
actions were adding
I
up.
think I think if somebody wants to see you or talk to you, like again, I know I keep going back to my ex-boyfriend and it's funny because I haven't really talked about him on the podcast for a while, but it's a good example. I because of our circumstances, we couldn't see each other more often.
Mhm.
Mostly his work schedule. I also had I I don't know. I probably had stuff going on too. Um it was mostly his work schedule, especially on the weekends, but also like I had a social life, I think. I don't this is years ago, so I'm like trying to remember back. But because of our circumstances, we couldn't see each other as often. So I don't even remember really early on into dating. We talked on the phone at least once a day. Like, and I'm not a phone talker. I hate talking on the phone. But he would call me. Sometimes like his job wasn't like an office job, so he would call me a lot when he was driving. Sometimes I would be in a meeting, sometimes I would be busy at work, like sometimes I was doing something else and I couldn't talk to him. But like I knew that he was thinking of me.
Yeah.
Like I knew that he wanted to talk to me. And even though he couldn't physically be with me in that moment, like he would talk to me. Even when
I'm
he
so
got
sad
in,
you broke up because it sounds like he was an actually good
yeah,
gentleman who like,
we had we
it's hard
had
to find these
reasons.
days.
Yeah, we had our reasons for breaking up. Like again, they were very valid reasons, but I have nothing bad to say about him as a person. He was
Yeah,
a very good person. But I'm saying like he it it's good and bad that I dated him because
yeah.
that was my first serious relationship and
You learn a lot.
he
Yeah.
set the bar really high. So now like I really just don't tolerate stuff from other guys. Like he when a guy doesn't text me back because he's quote unquote busy, like nobody is that busy. Like if a
Oh
guy
my God.
goes
Yeah.
days without texting me, like that's unacceptable. Everybody has a moment. Like I just think back to my relationship with this guy. I knew how busy he was at work. Like sometimes he would call me while he was working. I could see what he was doing.
Yeah,
He
I
was
think also
working.
guys think we're clingy and needy that way. It's
N-
not like
No.
we know you have jobs. We know that
Yeah.
you like it's fine, but if you have the time to look at my message, you have the time to be like, "Hey, like I'm busy right now. I'll speak to you or call you." Like
Yeah.
you won't even do that. They just like ignore you and then especially as someone who has anxiety and overthinker, you're now thinking of all the things that you said wrong or like
No, it's not you. It's them.
yeah, but it's
Because
like
if they want to, they'll do it. Like,
exactly.
okay, my ex-boyfriend actually could not answer my text messages. He was driving places, he was doing stuff. I was probably text him. He would text me always in the morning, like he would send me a good morning text. And then sometimes he just like I would text him random things throughout like the day and I wouldn't hear back from him. I knew though that he was going to call me whenever he had like a second. Like he was so busy. He would come home from work late and exhausted. He would still call me. He would fall asleep on the phone with me like 90% of the time, but like
So
he would still
cute.
call me.
Yeah.
Like if a guy
If he wanted to, he would. I
if he
like
exactly, if he
hello, look at
wanted
the
to, he
hostages,
would.
right? Daniela's the girl
Yeah.
like in she's in Gaza, okay? And he like asked her to marry her there. She doesn't even know that he comes back, he waits for her, doesn't even know if she's alive, waits for her and asks again like that. Like when
Yeah.
I know that's like a very high bar and expectation, but I'm just saying, like, if they wanted to, they will. And
Yeah.
not so hard. It's really
It's
not.
not hard. And like if they're showing you, even if they're telling you that they want to, if they're not showing you, then they don't want to.
Yeah. I
Because a guy who wants to will show you. Like, I don't know,
even
even
if they
my
are not so as emotional as women, like
yeah, even my other ex who I dated after this guy, he was getting ready to go we also it wasn't I call it like medium distance because it's like I lived in the city and he also didn't live in he lived in New York but not in the city. So it and also with our work schedules, it was hard to see each
yeah,
other
long
more than
distance
like
friends in
once a
general.
week. But there was one time that like he was going away. He was going to be away for a week or whatever. And he's like, I want to see you. He's like, I have to work until this time, or I had to work. I don't, someone had to work late. And he's like, I just want to come see you, even if it's just for an hour. He probably spent less time seeing me than he did driving, but he still came to see me
Yeah. Yeah,
because
exactly.
he wanted. And this was like pretty early into dating.
Yeah.
If he wanted to, he would. If a guy wants to put the effort in, same with a girl, but I think with girls,
I think it depends if you get a golden retriever or a husky. You know what I'm talking about? Like the golden retriever type of guys, they will do anything and everything for you. They'll take care of you. The gentlemen, the huskies are like the more macho is like they're not like and sometimes you do have to tell the guy, like I really what you did the other day was like really special. Like I like when you do things like you do have to communicate.
yeah,
Like
positive reinforcement.
men and women are made different. Men,
Yeah.
but I and men are less emotional, but I agree with you. I think if a guy really liked a girl, he would do everything and anything to keep her.
Yeah,
And
and you brought up a good point in telling a guy what you like. If he does something or if he's not doing it, instead of being like, "Oh, like I can't believe you're not doing it." It's like, "Oh, I really like when a guy does this." And a guy who cares is going to do that. And yeah, I don't know. It's also I think sometimes as women we're afraid to like speak up. I
yeah,
have gotten to a point in my life where I don't care anymore and I will just say it. Like I don't know, I'll be talking to a guy and I'll just say, "Yeah, this isn't work." Like I don't know, I was talking to a guy. Oh, this was like I don't even know why I let it go on as long as it did. I was basically texting with a guy for a couple months. It was long distance. It was a friend setup. At some point he did come to New York and we went out on a one and done date. We had maybe one phone call that I initiated
yeah.
because I was just tired of it.
That's the thing.
This
Also,
guy
girls are always the one initiating. What is
I know.
this?
This guy would literally like not text me for days. And so finally I was just like, "Hey, this like texting
Doesn't
every
work.
few days
Yeah,
isn't working for me. I'd still love to get to know you, but if you want to schedule a phone call, let me know. Like, if
Yeah.
you're interested, let's schedule a phone call. And like, it took me saying, like, bro, you can't just text me every few
Yeah.
days. And then after that, he was a little better with the texting. Still not like,
Yeah.
I'm really good at texting. I'm a great
Yeah.
texter because I'm on my phone a lot, but it wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't great texting, but it wasn't as bad.
I
And
know, I agree with you. I think a lot of the times like girls are taking initiative and then we come across as needy and and it's like no, just like that's what I was talking about in the beginning about setting straight. If you're interested in someone, show her. Don't play games with her.
yeah,
Don't say this and then really mean that, like and if you're not interested, then don't lead her on either. But like just be straight and like it, honestly, if someone really is that interested in you, like no girl should even feel the need to like, oh, maybe I should initiate it. I read a book, and in the book it was saying it's called the Rules Handbook. I don't know if you heard about it or know about it, but it's a non-Jewish book, but they're basically giving dating advice, and in the advice it was saying that girls should play hard to get because if the girl starts basically like in the olden days if a guy wanted you he would ask you out and all that stuff, so if you ask a guy out first or you initiate it it takes away from you knowing if the guy was actually interested because you initiated, as opposed to if the guy initiated then like he's interested. If they were saying like play hard to get, don't text him all the time. They were saying because if the guy is really interested he'll like go after you, he'll chase you, stuff like that, which I thought was interesting because in our world, like when you go to singles events and all this stuff, like they always say that, you should approach and girls and this, but I think it does make sense. I think if a girl were to approach a guy, they sometimes they feel like they have to go out now or like
I
because they
think it
feel bad
depends on the guy.
yeah, I mean
Because I've asked guys about it, and I feel like a lot of guys like are will say yes if a girl asks them out and they're like semi interested. Like the vibe I got was like maybe they didn't know or weren't interested enough to like chase or pursue. But I don't know. Also, at the end
I don't
of the
even like
day,
what you said semi-interested. Like no one should go anyone who's going out with someone should think that the guy or the girl likes them. Listen, you don't have to like them 100% because you have to date to get to know if it's that. But like you should go out because you generally like the person and you like them, not because like they're semi attractive or they're semi interesting. Like no, go out with them because you see potential, you like their personality. The girl, the guy is attractive, but like these days I feel like more guys than girls, but the guys are like settling because they're either getting desperate or they're getting older or getting this and that. And
guys
it's
are
like,
settling or girls are settling.
no, guys are settling. I said,
No, I think girls are settling.
really?
Yeah. Have you ever met a guy who settled? I haven't. I've met girls who have settled.
Maybe I don't know if they actually settle, but they say like at a certain age they get to a point where like, yeah, if I'm not gonna get this, I'll just go for that. But like no girl wants to hear that. And also
I
like
have never heard that before because I'm seeing these like 50-year-old like 50-year-old guys on the streets still thinking they can get 30-year-olds. Like,
so why do you think the girls are settling then?
girls are settling because they want to get married and have kids.
Well,
I'm
that's
never going to settle.
what?
I'm never going to settle. I don't understand why. I could understand. I don't know.
No, I think over
You don't
time
have friends who have settled?
no, I
I
I don't
do.
think I'm settled either, but I think over the years what I want and what I used look for definitely has changed. Like my standards are different. They're not as high or low, but
I think my priorities and what I'm looking for have shifted. It's not
yeah.
that my standards changed, it's that my priorities and what I'm looking for have
Yeah.
shifted. And also, I think it's normal because as you date, you find more of what you want and what you don't want. And like, okay, like I'm 31. I've been dating for a long time. I've been in relationships. I've dated really good guys, I've dated really bad guys. Like each of my experiences has shaped what I'm looking for now and what I stay away from. Like certain qualities I see in a guy and it's triggering for me because I think back to like bad guys that I not like bad guys, but like guys that I went out with that like it was a bad experience. And I'm like, no, I want to stay far away from that.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Listen, like who I was at 22 and who I am now are two totally different people and like what I'm looking for. And like as I dated, I saw that things that I thought were big deals end up being small things, and small things end up being big things. But I don't know. I feel like especially because guys are all about attraction, I feel like they're all settling because they're getting to an age where they're seeing that they're not getting married and they're not going to get the perfect 10 that they want. So they're like, okay, I'll go for this. And which, by the way, if you're not a 10 yourself, you don't get to ask for a 10. Let's just put that out
Yeah,
there.
guys are delusional.
And no one is a perfect 10. Like there's no such thing. You become a
Yeah,
perfect
nobody's
10,
perfect.
you become a perfect 10 based on your personality and how you treat and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
like I feel like a lot of these guys like have a number that they want, and then they, which by the way, no girl wants to be a number. But
Yeah.
they have a number that they want and they're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna get it. So let me go for like a little bit less. Because the person is, you know, like because when I get the 10 in my with the perfect 10 in my eyes, I don't like anything else because they're not so like you said, like the hottest guy are usually like the biggest jerks, you know. So like they get these like perfect 10s and then they realize like they're not what they're looking for, and then they see like the average or whatever girl, and they're like, hey, she's not like my perfect 10, but she's nice and she can take care of my kids. Like nobody wants that. Like anyone you
No, I've
date,
never heard of a
anyone you
guy.
marry to
I
be a
never
10.
heard a guy say that.
What?
I never heard a guy say that.
So I haven't either, but it came up like recently where and a few guys at the event were like very into like numbers and all this
No,
stuff.
I think a guy who's so into numbers isn't ready to get married. Like, if you're basing, if you're giving a girl numbers, like, you're not ready to be with a quality
I
woman.
mean, you
Like,
can you can give a girl, you could rate a girl, just leave it in your head. Like don't, you know what I'm saying?
no, yeah, you should not be. No girl wants to hear a guy comment on girls' looks
Mm-hmm.
unless you're just telling her that she looks beautiful.
Yeah.
No girl wants to hear a guy talk about girls' looks.
Or talk about other girls.
Yeah. No girl wants to hear a guy talk about other girls.
Yeah.
Like ever.
It's like also like the number
Ever.
one rule of dating, like you don't talk about like your past dates on a date. Don't talk about other girls in front of girls. Like you wanna rate girls with your boys and you wanna rate girls in your head, do that, but do not let it come out.
And it's honestly so funny because I talk to my girlfriends a lot about guys. I talk on the podcast a lot about guys. I talk about guys a lot. And I really never talk about them in such an objectifying way. Like, I don't
No.
know, if there's a guy, whatever, there's a guy, and like I was talking to my coworker, and she's like, "Oh, what does he look like? Is he cute?" I'll be like, "Oh yeah, he's cute." Like, or I'll show a picture, but it's not like, "Oh, he has this type of body and this type of
Yeah.
face, and
Also
he's this
different
and this
people have different
height."
attractive levels. But
Yeah,
what?
because when you're putting a number, I work with numbers. I'm an accountant. Numbers are very objective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Numbers are very objective. So when you put a number on someone, everyone has different tastes. Everybody finds someone like different things attractive, like you're saying. You're turning something subjective, you're trying to fit something subjective into being something objective.
Yeah.
And like a guy who thinks all guys think that the same thing is attractive is not it's not right. Like just like every girl doesn't think this like okay, yeah, we see a hot guy, all the girls can agree that he's hot. Doesn't
Hmm.
mean we all want to date him.
Exactly.
Like if I see a guy who's like 6'2", washboard abs, like like beautiful blue eyes, like great head of hair, like okay, yeah, and like good face, chiseled jawline, like okay, yeah, he's hot. And like most of the women who also see him could agree that he's hot. But like,
Within 2 seconds of talking to him, you can see that he's
yeah,
not you.
But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean I want to date him. I probably don't want to date him. I don't. I definitely. I mean, listen. I don't know. I don't know his personality. I don't know who he is as a person. That matters so much more, and our chemistry together.
Right. I mean, listen, can I go into a singles event and like know by first glance who's not going to work for me? Yeah, but I'm not saying it out loud, and I would never, even if even if the reason why I'm breaking up with someone is because I'm not attracted, I would never tell them that. No one wants to hear that. It ruins your self-confidence, it ruins your self-esteem. Like, it's funny because I was saying you have to be straight before, but like there's also certain things that you don't need to be straight for. Like there was one guy that like for some reason I could just not, like, he wasn't ugly, and we literally had such a good connection, but when it came down to like either being intimate or like, taking things further, like okay, I can hold hands or whatever, I just couldn't get there. And um for attraction, but like to like my reasoning is, I didn't give it. I couldn't give like a real answer, honestly, because it really was the attraction, and there's nothing. So like, yeah, he might think that like I broke up because like I had anxiety and I couldn't make up my decision, which is like it sucks because like that wasn't, and I don't want someone to like think of me that way. But it's so much better than him thinking I didn't like who you are, because it's like you said, it's not something you can control. So like, I just, yeah, I was like
I don't
shocked
know.
by like
You
strategy.
can also tell someone that it doesn't feel right. That's a valid
Yeah, it
reason.
doesn't feel right. Yeah.
You don't have to go into like, oh, your nose is too long and you're losing your hair and you're too short and you need to lose XYZ pounds. Like, you don't have to go into all those reasons. You could just be like, oh, something doesn't feel right. Because a lot of the times, a lot of it is a feeling.
It's the feeling, yeah.
It's just a feeling. It's like you can't put certain things to it. It's just like, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. I
Something
think
doesn't feel
I
right.
I think the times that you should be straight is like, because a lot of times like the shotgun will be like, oh, or the person, whoever you're going through will be like, yo, he said no. And you're like, okay, why? And they're like, oh, he didn't give an answer. He wasn't like, I do think like out of respect for both parties, you should give a solid answer. Like, don't like besides for like if it's attraction, then okay, like I think he's a great guy. I just don't see it. Or I think you're a great guy. I just don't see it happening. Like, fine. But if it's like, oh, this person like said something, or the person I think is just not clicking, like I think it's really okay to tell the person that, or tell the shotgun to tell them that, because when you just keep getting no after no after no without like a real reason, it kind of gets to you a little bit, because you start to think, um so if it is attraction, I would say like, yeah, just not my fit, or like, because there's probably gonna be something else that bothers you. But if there's actually, I think a lot of relationships would also be saved, because there's so many stories where like the guy or girl said something, and the other party was so offended, but like the person who said it didn't mean it. And like, if you would have just told them or communicated with them, they could have apologized, or or like, now it's awkward because the next date you have to like say, oh, like what you did last time. Listen, I'm not like, definitely you should keep your eye out for like the bad things, but I think it would make dating so much easier if people would just like actually communicate your feelings, and everything. Like, I don't know. Do you agree? What do you think?
No, I agree. Um, I'm big on tattling. So like if I get set up with someone and they do something off-putting or don't act properly, in my opinion, I will tell whoever set it up.
But would you tell them
Um,
on the date though? Like right then and there?
Probably not. But I would
See,
tell the
I want
person
to
who set it
normalize
up.
that. I want I
Or
well,
or like
I how bad it is also.
I've like texted guys like ending things and said like, "Oh, I was really off put by that." Like this certain thing. I can't think of a good example. I think
But do you think that
there
if
was
you
this guy. There was this guy. We didn't go out in person. It was long distance. We had a video call, and he was wearing glasses. And in our video call wasn't that long. In the reflection of his glasses, I could see him scrolling on his phone while we were having the video call.
Oh my God.
So I texted him to end things. And I was like, by the way, like I could see in the reflection of your glasses that you were scrolling. If you wanted to get off the phone, you should have just gotten off the phone. Like it was so disrespectful to me,
Yeah.
and it was a waste of my time. Like I set aside this time to speak to you. Like it was just really disrespectful. Um,
But let's say you would have said that on the date. How do you don't think he would have been like, I guess that you have to know the guy that you're dating also, and like how they
yeah,
would have.
this was like a first, or
Right.
maybe it was our first. I think we had talked on the phone once or twice, and we had a video call. I should have called him out in the moment. I should have been like, I think this was a few years ago. If this was now, I probably been like, I could see that you're scrolling on your phone. If you
Right.
don't want
So
to
it's
talk to
funny
me,
because I say
like,
this,
let me go.
I say that like I would say something, and then like comes to the date, I'm like this like shy little nice girl, and like
Yeah,
come home
or
and rant
like,
about it. But like on the
I'm,
moment, it's like it is hard. But like I'm trying to
yeah,
tell guys that like we need to, guys
like
and girls.
one of the things that I don't like is when a guy doesn't offer to walk me home. Or I mean, okay, I guess this is different. This is a city thing,
Yeah,
and
no one drives
so
there. Mhm.
yeah, so I went out with a guy last year. And by last year, I mean in 2024. And we went on. The problem was, I wanted him to offer to walk me home. I didn't actually want him to walk me home. Like I
Uh-huh.
didn't really care to spend more time with him, but I wanted him to offer. And it bothered me that he didn't. And then I went out with another guy, and I actually it was a whole long story. I usually don't like getting on a subway to meet a guy. I usually want him to come to me and go somewhere within walking distance for me, because like I don't want to get on a subway.
Yeah.
But it was a weird situation. He wasn't from New York. Like he didn't live in New York, and we were both this was the guy I was talking to long distance, and it was like we were meeting because we were trying to fit in a time to meet. And like I was going on a trip early Sunday morning. He was in New York for the weekend. He came in late Thursday night. My work schedule is weird on Friday. Like we tried to make different times work, but the only time we could meet was on Saturday night. And he was going somewhere after the date, and I was supposed to go somewhere after the date. I was supposed to have a birthday dinner for a friend. It ended up getting canceled because a friend got sick. So,
Yeah.
which is the only reason why I didn't like make a whole fuss about this, because I was already going like downtown to like meet my friends. So I was like, okay, I could stop off and meet him first. Um, and then I didn't even end up. So I literally got on a subway for this guy. And then at the end of the date, I was like, okay, aren't you going to walk me to the subway? But he like wasn't getting the hint. And I was just like, whatever, this is dumb. And it was just like, I literally, like, even you could walk me, the subway was like a block away.
Yeah.
Like, you could walk me a block to the train. Like,
So
that's
it's
the
so funny
gentlemanly
because
thing to
you were
do.
saying, how before how like you weren't like so interested in the guy anyways to walk him like to walk. Um, but I kind of have the same thing, and I don't know why. It's like the guys that you're like not so excited or not interested about, I like you get so much more frustrated when they don't do something
Yeah.
because I think like you think like, oh, they wasted your time or whatever, but when there's a guy that you like, you're not as bothered by it. And I don't know why. Like I don't know why like if I'm not interested in you, then something that you do shouldn't bother me, but it usually bothers, at least for me, it bothers me like 10 times more
No, I
than something
agree.
that, like I'm interested in, and I don't know why. Because
And
if
it's
I'm
also,
interested, then like
maybe it's also like I'm trying to look for redeeming quality that I didn't waste my time totally.
yeah,
And
exactly.
like I don't I haven't had it very often where I like a guy and he doesn't walk me home or doesn't take me home. Um
But
I feel like
I think that's also why it doesn't bother us, because if we like the guy, we know that they're gonna do those things because like we like the guy usually because they're gentlemen and because they treat us that way.
yeah.
So we don't do it. So when it's someone that we're not interested in or like not so excited, but we're still figuring out, and then they do something to bother you, it's like, well, now you just made your case worse for me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I think it, as opposed to when someone you're dating you like, 10 out of 10, like 9 out of 10 times you hope they're doing something good. So the 1% that they don't do something good, it doesn't bother you as much because ugh, but he's good in everything else because I like him. You know, it's
Yeah.
like the way we think is just funny.
Also, I think, at least for me, half the battle is how they treat me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I need a good personality, chemistry, and all of that, but the rest of it is really how you treat me. And are you a gentleman? Are you thoughtful? I like a guy who's thoughtful and considerate. So, like, if you're thoughtful and considerate, that's half the battle. Like,
Yeah.
you've already halfway won me over by
Yeah.
doing the bare minimum.
I know it's not so hard,
It's
guys.
not
It's
so
really
hard.
not
It's
hard.
just, yeah.
Just
But
do it. That's we don't have to
yeah,
do much. You
I
know?
don't like I don't need that much. I'm very independent. I'm not looking for anything crazy. I just want a guy to show that he's like thoughtful and considerate
Mm.
and like wants to be a gentleman and like cares cares like about my experience.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy how that's like such a crazy like expectation or question that we have to like like we're not asking for a lot here. We just want you to
Yeah.
be thoughtful and considerate, but like apparently that's really hard to find.
I've had guys who like don't want to date me go out of their way to drive me home. Like
Yeah.
you can't even walk me a block to the subway.
Mhm.
I don't care if you want to see me again.
Yeah.
It's nighttime.
It's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, you can't walk me. You can't even offer to walk me a few blocks to my apartment
Yeah.
when
I
I
had a guy
will
who
likely turn you down.
I had a guy who works for Showroom, which is literally like you know what Showroom is?
Yeah.
He literally dropped me off and then drove off. And I'm like, you work for Showroom. Where I live is a dangerous place. Like no, like I personally don't like when they walk me all the way to my front door. Like you don't have to like get that close, but
No,
like
but like
you don't
make
even
sure
have
I
to
get
come out.
in.
Yeah, you don't even have to come out. Just like
Just
make sure you get
watch.
in. Yeah.
Watch and make sure I get in okay.
It shows a lack of like to take care of because if you're able to take care of me, then you're gonna watch over me. Or like if you can offer me a water bottle or a drink after I'm talking for 3 hours and my mouth is dry, you can't take care of me. You know?
No. And it shows that you don't care to try.
Yeah. And I know that a lot of the guys are not purposely doing it. I just think they're just so oblivious and they just don't.
They
But
don't,
like
yeah.
again, it's not my job to teach you. Like at a certain age, you know, like you should know this stuff, especially if you're like in the society in the world. Like you should just know these things. It shouldn't
Yeah.
happen to
I
you.
don't know. I've had guys drop me off in front of my apartment and won't leave until I text them that I made it upstairs. Like,
That's really
it
sweet.
might have just been my ex-boyfriends, but like, but
I'm telling
still.
you, I hope like everything's good, but like he sounds like a 10 out of 10.
The other one might have done that. I think the other one might have done that too. I don't remember. No, I listen, we broke up for a reason. We
Yeah,
honestly broke
I'm
up like
I'm joking, but
over 3 years ago. Like I think some of the stuff that you're talking about, those are my best examples of a guy who actually did
yeah.
treat me properly. I do wish him the best in life. Like I think he's a great guy. Um I wish him nothing but good things. Nothing bad. I have nothing bad to say.
Yeah.
And I hope we both find our people. I think he's still single. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um I think he's no, he is still alive. He sometimes watches my Instagram stories, so I know he's alive. But yeah, it's just those are my best examples of guys. My other ex-boyfriend also treated me very well. Like he's also a
It's
very good
hard because
guy.
they set a standard and then like you start going out with guys and you're like, wow, the standard's really just gotten lower and lower. And like
Yeah.
I know they say that there's a lot of fish in the sea, but like not really.
Not really. Not quality ones. I really do think that certain things are meant in certain times. And like, listen, I've been dating for a long time. I'm 31. I thought I was going to be married by 25. Like, everyone's typical
I thought I would have at least
experience.
by now.
And like, I've gone back and forth on my attitude about it. But one of the things, I don't really do New Year's resolutions. And we're recording this in February. You guys will probably listen to this a little bit later on. So we're past the New Year mark, but we're still
Yeah.
in the beginning of 2025. And one of the things that I am really trying to, I think it came up at the end of last year, and I was just like, I tend to look at the negative sides of everything, and it's hard because like that's I feel like it's a very natural thing to do is just to see what we don't have. And I was talking about 2024 with some of my friends. And I was like, oh yeah, 2024 was a terrible year. 2024 sucked. And one of my friends was like, oh, I don't understand what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
look at all this good stuff that happened in 2024. And I'm thinking, I looked back and I was like, wow, okay, so really the only bad thing that happened in 2024 was that I was still single and I had bad dating experiences. And everything else in my life was actually like so good. I went on like really fun trips with my friends. I did really cool things. I like my job. Like I have like I've had really good podcast guests. Thing like all these good things. So for 2025, it really just made me think about it. And I was like, for 2025, I really want to try to change
Live
my
life.
mindset a little bit. And again, not a resolution. It's just like trying to see things a little differently
No, but it's so true.
and
Yeah, I
try to see like the positive. And I don't know, there's this one, I don't know. I don't know how Jewish this is, but I also am trying to like manifest good things. But like again, I know there are concepts of Judaism. I think it's more in Hasidut where it's
yeah.
like the best thing you could do in life is be happy. And like when you're happy you attract like
Yeah,
good things.
sure.
So I'm trying to incorporate that as well as like whatever ideas of like manifestation, like, oh yeah, this good thing is going to happen and trying to see the positive things. So I'm really trying to see it as like, okay, yeah, I'm 31 and I'm single.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be married at 25, but I know people who got married at 25 and who are now in their
Divorce.
30s and divorced and they have kids and it's messy. And I'm like, thank God. Thank God I'm single. Like, I hear about all of these messy stories, and the older you get, the more you hear about people you know, people who your friends know, and just going through these bad situations. And it's like, thank
It was
God.
actually funny on the Shabbaton. There was a girl who she was also 31, and she was saying how like she made it to the mark where like she's past divorce. So whoever she marries, she's like, we're never gonna get divorced because like she made a joke that like you get divorced, you're like either 22, 25. She's like, no one gets divorced at like really like there's a very low rate for like 30s and up to get divorced. So she's like, I'm
Yeah,
past.
statistically
Yeah.
speaking,
She's like, so
I missed my first divorce.
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, so it's just like sometimes it's really easy to look at your life as being single
Yeah.
and say, "Oh yeah, this sucks. This is really hard. Like I'm lonely. I wish I had a partner. I'm getting older. I want to have kids. I want to have a family. I feel stuck in my place in life."
Yeah.
But I do think it's for a reason. And like, yeah, sometimes you can let your mind wander and be like, "What if I never get married? What if I never find what I'm looking for?" I think at the end of the day, if you really want something and you really put emphasis on it and like whatever, I have my own relationship with prayer and God and all of that. I go back and forth on a lot of things. But if you really want something and really pray for something, at the end of the day, it's more likely than not that you're gonna get it. At
Yeah.
least when it comes to like this kind of thing. It's just like sometimes you don't know when it's right for you. And like I would rather meet like the best guy that I will ever meet and stay married to him for years and years. And I'd rather get married in my 30s than meeting some guy at 25 and like going through a roller coaster and ending up divorced and having to do this again.
100%. And it's funny you say this because I also kind of had this like epiphany where when I turned 25, I bought myself a car. And before I had like this car that like could get me to Brooklyn, and that's about it. And I bought myself a car. I felt like very independent. I was like able to drive, and I had this like switch, and I'm like, before like everything and everywhere, like everything was just all about dating. Like I would go and like go shopping, and like I wouldn't buy an outfit because I thought it was cute. I was like, this would look good on a date. And I was like, this is just so stupid. Like, you can't live your life around dating, married, or like wasn't traveling or because what if? And I had this like manifestation where I'm just like, you know what? Like, you need to love yourself and you need to be happy in life without a man because
Yeah.
a man is not going to solve all your problems. It's not. Okay, it
Yeah.
might solve, you can be very lonely in a marriage too, like you said.
Yeah. And it's
So
worse to be lonely in a marriage than
exactly.
lonely single.
Yeah. So I just like had this switch and like once like now when I go shopping, I'm like I'm gonna buy this because it looks cute. And if I happen to wear it on a date, I'll happen to wear it on a date. But like I'm gonna buy it because I want to. Or like before I think in the summer I was going to this like Israel trip, and it was like a non-refundable, and I was like, and I wasn't dating anyone at the time, but I was like, I don't want to go because like what if I meet someone? And then I was like, you're being stupid, because if you meet someone, it's only 2 weeks, and like it's only 2 weeks, and if you don't meet someone, you're still gonna go. So like, so
Yeah.
I and everyone and every single person and a lot of podcasts and almost every book says you have to live your life, and I think like it's a really good thing that like, thank God, like we figured that out now and not later, because I feel bad for the 20-year-olds who are getting married right out of seminary. Like they're very naive, and I hope that they're happy, but like when you like sit with yourself and you do things that you want for you, and and then those things make you happy, like you feel purpose, like do things that make you purposeful, like that make you feel purposeful, and like all this stuff. And I personally, like before I was hoping that it would come, but like now that like I've took time to like work on myself and do what I want, I genuinely feel in my bones that it's coming. Like I really do. I'm like, and I believe that the reason why I'm still single is because I wasn't ready, like because I was so stuck in this like dating thing that it has to be this and this. But like now that like I opened myself up and I'm doing more chesed and I'm doing this and I'm traveling and I'm going with my friends and meeting this, like because I'm so into that and I'm like not as lonely and depressed, like I just feel like, okay, now you're ready. Now it's gonna come. So it really is like, anyone out there who's like, it's funny, this is what was gonna be one piece of my advice is like live your life and don't let like the dating like stop you, and also like believe it's gonna happen, because it's God doesn't like say, you know what, you just haven't been good today, so like I'm never gonna send you, like that's not the type of God we believe in. So it's like, believe it's gonna happen, don't settle, live your life, and like just enjoy, because once you have kids and whatever, you're not gonna be, it'll be a different stage of life that you'll be enjoying, but
and I will just add, not to like put a downer on what we're saying, but if for some reason it doesn't happen, then like you're living a more fulfilled life, and like you have things going on, and you have to find meaning in your life in other ways, because I just, and again, I believe that it will happen.
Yeah.
But in case it doesn't, I want to be a fulfilled person.
Yeah.
Some people think single people, especially as you get older, are just like living half a life. Like I'm not living half a life. I want to be living my best life. I worked way too hard to not live my best life.
Yeah.
To not do
I think
fun
also,
things.
if you love yourself and you feel meaningful, like you're not gonna feel as quote unquote needy in a like
Yeah.
When you're married, you're not gonna need every single thing. Like you won't be as, it's not an insecurity thing, because hopefully like you feel confident and to get married, but like things are not going to affect you as much, because you're like, I don't need that because I'm happy and I have this, you know what I'm saying? So I think that also is like, it makes a big difference when you're like happy and but like if you're just like sad and depressed and desperate and like I'm never gonna get married, like you're gonna have a terrible marriage, like I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, and you never want to be emotionally, physically, financially dependent on someone else.
Yeah.
You need to have that for yourself, because someone else isn't going to fulfill you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to fulfill yourself, and then together you can be fulfilled as two people.
100%.
But yeah. Okay, so Sarah, before, I know we've had a lot of conversation. Is there anything else before we get into our wrap up segments? Any other stories, insights, anything that you want to share before I ask you for your piece of advice?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. I feel like I got like this big weight off my shoulders. Like,
this is a good outlet to express
100%.
thoughts and feelings. That's another plug to come on the podcast, everyone. If you also would like have things you want to talk about, and they could be opposite opinions. I don't have to agree with everything you say. That makes for fun discussion too. So come on the podcast, everybody.
Totally. You guys really come on this podcast. You'll feel so much better. You can be able to like get out everything you need. Hopefully someone learned something, and if we helped anybody, it was worth it to do this. So
Exactly.
you know, and I fulfilled my dream of being on a podcast, so that's fine.
Yeah, and we had fun.
Yeah, like we're friends now, by the way. Like I hope you
Yeah,
know that.
obviously.
Okay, so
Okay, yeah. So Sara, I know we've shared lots and lots of thoughts, insights, everything, but can you give me and my listeners one piece of dating advice?
so I'm gonna give two, if that's okay.
Of course.
I'm gonna so there's two. I'm gonna take it from my mother. This is not for me. One thing that she said that really stuck with me is that you don't have to marry young, you have to marry right, which I think is a big thing. If the person that you're dating is never gonna change, and if that bothers you the way that they are right now, then end it. But if it doesn't, then continue, because no one is necessarily going to change in marriage. And live your life, and live your life for you and not for anybody else. And don't listen
Those
to
are good.
outsiders. Yeah.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
And then Sara, last but not least, what is your tagline?
So I tried to really come up with a line, and I just couldn't. So I wrote a little bit of a poem that kind of like gets a little piece of me. I'm also like into poems. So it's short and sweet. It goes, I'm looking for Mr. Right. With patience and faith, everything will be all right. Wherever you are, I know you're not far. I know Hashem is setting the bar. Kindness, respect, and willing to grow are character traits you need to show. So ask me on a date, because for all you know, I can be your soulmate.
I like it. It's really cute, really creative.
Yeah, short and sweet, to the point.
It's
Not
good.
asking for much.
Yeah, exactly. Just my soulmate.
Yeah.
Sara, this was so much fun.
So much fun.
I really enjoyed our discussion, and thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is a blast.
Of course. And Sticky Situation Nation, you'll catch me next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.